right, I'm kind of just gonna go for this. This is the, I guess, test episode for Cellar in Progress. I've been fiddling around with the mic a little bit. We're gonna see how the audio comes out in this. No live video today. We're just gonna get straight into it. Today I'm gonna be comparing two different Chardonnays, one from Burgundy, one from Napa. The first is the Montagny Premier Cru from Alpidemont Chauve in the 2019 vintage. The other is the Matthiasson Linda Vista Vineyard from 2021. Both Chardonnays sort of going after a fairly similar style, seeing a little bit of oak use, some lees aging, but coming from two very, very different places in the world, two very, very different terroirs. Before I sort of jump into tasting these, we'll get a little bit of background on them. First, the Piedmont Chauve. They are an estate run by the Picard family, based out of primarily Chasson and Pouligny-Montrachet, with some estates in Saint-Aubin as well. The sort of family's history traces back in Burgundy to 1951 when Louis Felix Picard first founded vineyards there, and then the estate's history sort of continues for some time, with a big significant event being them in 1997 acquiring the Chateau du Chasson Montrachet. Currently, the estate is run by, I believe, third or fourth generation Francine Picard and is run in a biodynamic manner. And they have 140 hectares under vine. We will be comparing this to the Matthiasson. Matthiasson was founded in 2003 by Jill and Steve Matthiasson. It is organically run, and this Linda Vista vineyard is a vineyard they have leased since 2011. It is adjacent to their property. It is being done whole cluster with lees aging, but no stirring, no batonnage in neutral French oak, with about a third malolactic, native yeast fermentation. I wasn't able to find quite such detailed info about the Piedmont Chauve, but I suspect that it went through a very similar process with lees aging and fairly neutral French oak. So I'm going to pause the mic here. I'm going to open up the bottles and pour them out, and we will get into the comparison. All right, the bottles are open and the glasses are poured. Let's sort of get into it. First, a little note on the corks, the Piedmont Chauve Montagny. Though it doesn't say on the label, the cork specifies that the Premier Cru it is coming from is the Clos Chardron. It was using a Diam 5 cork. The Matthiasson is a natural cork. Let's sort of start with the visuals. Immediately, both are fairly straw-colored. The Piedmont Chauve is a little more golden in color, a little deeper. It could be due to higher oak influence. It could be due to it just being a couple years older than the Matthiasson here. Let's get into the noses. I'll start with the Piedmont Chauve. Super classic Chardonnay. Just a little bit of toastiness there. Some sort of peach, some apricot. You know, you get Lee's character. It's very round. It's very creamy on the nose. Yeah, and as I continue looking at it, it is really much more golden in color than the Matthiasson. Neat stuff. Going over to the nose on the Matthiasson. Definitely a little lighter. I would say a little more crystalline. But again, very, very true Chardonnay in character. It's not overwhelmingly apparent what's sort of going on here, just on the nose. But again, quite fruity. I would say the Matthiasson is a little more tropical. I get a little bit more pineapple there, maybe a little bit of passion fruit just on the nose. Both of these wines are being served at about 55 degrees, is around the temperature they came out of the fridge at. And I sort of decided to put them against each other because they're in relatively similar price ranges. They're both in the 30 to 40 range. I believe the Épis de Montchauve was 30 or 31 bucks, and the Matthiasson sort of runs 35 to 38. So let's move into the palates here. First, the Épis de Montchauve. Very, it's a dumb thing to say, but very Burgundian. Very round, quite mouth-filling, quite structured. It's Chardonnay. As far as whites go, it tends towards the medium-bodied. You can probably hear it. My mouth is watering. There was some green apple, some fruit character. Again, more peach, more pear. It's maybe even a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of like exotic spice. Nice stuff. Very easy. Again, I get quite a lot of that Lee's character, creaminess. Neat stuff. Very drinkable, very quaffable. And let's compare that to the Matthiasson. Hmm. Much like on the nose and on the eye, the Matthiasson is a little lighter, is a little more delicate, and I would say sharper, again, more crystalline. The acidity is a little higher. Again, tropical, it's more pineapple acidity than it is green apple acidity like the Épis de Montchauve had. I'd say my immediate reaction is that's the one that I prefer a little bit. It's just a little sharper, a little more focused. Let's go back for another sip of that. Yeah, nice, very delicate. Certainly there's something a little floral, a little perfumey there. Yeah, it's the more delicate of the two, which I think is the style that I generally tend to prefer. Um, Again, my mouth is watering. Both of these have very good acidity, are very classic examples of Chardonnay, but yeah, it's neat putting them next to each other. These very similar styles, broadly, the same grape and all that, in just two very different places. I'd say each was very representative of its location. The Montagny, the Burgundian Chardonnay, a little bit heavier, a little bit richer, certainly more old world, whereas the Matthiasson was a little bit more high tone, a little bit sharper, more tropical, which is exactly what you would expect. Comparing these two wines. So that's about it from me. I'm going to go through and add some visuals into this, probably some stock photos or nonsense, and we'll see how it turned out. And I'm going to go drink a bunch of Chardonnay. Yay!